Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And I'm going to have an old-fashioned rant, okay? Because what you're seeing in South Africa right now with this lockdown is actually BS. Because the public hospital system is such a complete and utter disgrace and disaster. And the government know it. You know, what's the use of having a lockdown when you got a Trojan horse running around inside the area that's locked down? And for any of those of you who follow history and know what the Trojan horse is all about, yeah, it's how these guys got into a Roman walled city by building this great big horse, and they had all these soldiers inside the horse. And then when the citizens of that fortress city said, "Whoa, look at that, that must be from God," and they pushed the horse into their community area, locked their doors again, all went off to bed that night. And when they were in bed, guess what happened? They opened the hatchway and all these soldiers came out of the horse and they ransacked the place. And that's what the coronavirus is basically doing to the townships. Now, I keep on talking about the townships because they are the most vulnerable to massive breakouts of the coronavirus. And it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen now. I'm going to read you an email that I got from Jeannie. This is someone on the ground in South Africa. She knows what's happening. It is absolutely disgusting. She says, "Hi, Scott. I sincerely apologize that I have not sent you the wireframes as of yet. Have had unfortunate news in the family. My uncle died of a heart attack on Sunday." Now remember, the coronavirus often causes heart attack because it does attack the heart as well. So this could be the coronavirus, and you'll understand why I'm saying could be in a moment. Okay. Just getting back to Jeannie's email. She says, "My uncle died of a heart attack on Sunday. My aunt, who has a severely compromised immune system, may be positive. And my gran had a traumatic experience at the hospital, Steve Biko Hospital to be exact. My work has been treating its staff like utter shit. Just been terrible. Where to start? My auntie was visited by an old friend of hers whose child often needs to go to various hospitals for her rare medical condition. The child and the mother were sick and made my aunt sick. No doctors were available to help her. She stays in KwaZulu-Natal. I had to make various calls for over 3 hours to get in touch with a local doctor. 3 hours. She went to see him this afternoon. Her temperature was over 40.5 degrees Celsius. She was isolated and the correct procedures were taken, thankfully. He informed her that there were no tests available. Get that? No tests for coronavirus available. And the laboratories are only testing people that have been traveling. So if you haven't come in from outside South Africa and you have all the symptoms of coronavirus, they just don't test you. They say, go home and self-isolate. This is what's going on in the ground in South Africa. This is the hocus pocus of this ANC government. They make all these wonderful promises and all this bullshit to the public, but this is what's happening on the ground. It couldn't be further from the truth from what they're actually saying in these speeches. You know, people like Ramaphosa, Pinocchio Ramaphosa, I think we're going to have to call him. Anyway, let's continue with this email. The doctor is treating her as a positive, and sadly she came in contact with my mother, which has me beyond stressed. These are two people that I love and cherish dearly. The other sources I've spoken to have said they have no test kits. There are no coronavirus test kits available. So how are they keeping check on who has been infected? They're not. This is happening on the ground. This isn't the BS that you're getting from the government. Talk about fake news. I'll tell you what fake news is. This ANC government is fake news. Anyway, Jeannie continues. Gets worse. Gets a lot worse. My gran, she is well in her 80s. She has a huge mass growing around her stomach and has been in and out of hospitals for 3 years. The pain was unbearable for her last night, and they called the ambulance. They arrived 3 hours later. 3 hours later. She sat at the hospital until 11 a.m. today. She sat at the hospital until 11 a.m. today. No one tended to her. She is a very kind woman and keeps to herself mostly. She said when the head nurse finally tended to her, she was refused treatment and was told to go home. Get that? She was refused treatment and told to go home. My auntie Nikki went and fetched her. My gran had told the staff and head nurse that they were very rude and treated the other patients like shit, that they speak so disrespectfully to them as if they aren't humans. My grandfather described the place as a hive of infection. She stated that there were clothes hanging wherever possible. The doctors and nurses did not wear gloves or masks. The floors were bloody. This is a hospital floor, was bloody, which I can only speak from experience. The patients were untreated for hours. All she could say was the hospital was so disgusting that if one sat there, you would probably go home with something. The staff was rude and disrespectful and racist. There was no medical staff that was not correctly dressed. And then she concludes by saying, no wonder the country is going to shit. I just thought I should share this. People will not be treated at hospitals, and if so, they will probably end up with another ailment and or with the coronavirus. Now, that's exactly what I've been saying for weeks now. When you go to a hospital and you're sitting in their waiting room, waiting for 8 to 12 hours, with people nearby coughing and spluttering and with the coronavirus, you might have walked in there with the common flu, but you'll walk out there with, guess what? COVID-19. Thanks to the public hospital system. Oh my gosh. And they aren't testing people. Why are they bothering with a lockdown in these circumstances? I mean, the thing is just obviously all over the place. And we'll never know the real number, but there's probably going to be a huge jump in people dying of pneumonia or heart attacks or breathing-related ailments. But they won't be put down as coronavirus, would they? No. That would just be telling people what's actually going on. This is why the ANC government have shut down the media from giving the true facts. Just what I've read to you now from this email is what is going on behind the scenes. It is disgusting, it is disgraceful, and the ANC government should be kicked out of power. It's time the bloody adults got back in charge. You know, this is just crazy. This is not how you treat human beings. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe.